I think it's safe to say that currently this will be the weirdest video I've posted online. Not to say that there won't be weirder. I don't want to limit my potential for strange internet content, but here we are. I'm going to be sharing the different pens I use for different reasons. Is this neurotic? Quite possibly. I don't know. There might be some psychiatrist out there basically giving me a diagnosis as I make this video, but I am very particular about my pens, and I like using certain pens for certain things. And because it's 2020 and I've been in my house for far too long, this seemed like a good video to film. We're in it now, so I'm just going to go into all the pens. I'm staring at my little jar. I have this elephant sticker on it and various pens in here. And I'm going to go through each of my favorites, talk about why I use them for certain things, why I weirdly don't use them for others. First and foremost, my favorite tried and true pen, if I couldn't use any other pen, I would use this one. It is the Sharpie pen. I don't have any particular specific one. I think there's only just Sharpie pen and fine. I am a black ink person, and this whole video is just going to be me waving pens around like wands. I'm going to try and stop that. This is the one that I use the most. So if I am planning, writing in my notebooks, making a to-do list in a notebook, this is what I will use for that. I just really like how consistent, it doesn't skip, it's not super wet or pigmented, it dries really fast, and it looks good. It doesn't look like a gray, shaded thing. It's just a very solid pen. It's one I've been using probably the longest. Next up is the Papermate Inkjoy Gel 0.7. Curious about the 0.5, haven't tried that out yet. This is what I use to take notes. I told you guys, this is gonna be a weird one. You're like, why don't you just use this? I could, but when I'm in a meeting or in a video call and I need to write quickly, I find that I prefer this pen over the Sharpie one, because that one just, you kind of gotta take your time with. It's not super slow, but this one I can just go like a crazy person, and it's really dark and thick, and I don't have to worry about smearing or it looking nice, because the goal of this pen is to write quickly and efficiently and be able to get all of my thoughts down. I also use this one in the other colors it comes in to write letters. I find it's easier to write just quickly with these, so I mix it up with a little bit of color when I'm doing all of my birthday cards and everything like that. I also use this in my journal. I told you guys, it's gonna be so weird. I use this one in my journal because I want to write quickly and keep up with my thoughts, so I find that this is easier to do that with. Next up are the Mildliners, and for an absurd amount of time I called them Mildliners, and you know what? I still stand by it. I use these to color code in my daily planner. See, I think this is also because I have so many planners that it kind of gets out of hand. So I have a color coding system for various types of work, all of our client work we do for our marketing side of things, for the retail store, for my blog, everything basically that I do has a color code. So when I write my daily to-do list, I will cover the little circle, the checkbox circle, with the color, just so I know that I'm trying to create a healthy variety. I find that I tend to focus on one thing really, really well and let other things slip to the wayside. So having the colors, I can be like, oh, there really isn't a lot of gray, which is a particular client we have. I need to make sure to do some more of those activities. And the colors just really help me visualize that a little bit better. I do not use these in my monthly views and all of my memory planning. I just use them on my to-do list, daily to-do list pages, as well as my to-do list notebook. So if you want to go check out my plans for 2020 video, I kind of go into a little bit more detail about that, master to-do list notebook. I use these to cross them off. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just to make it look pretty and colorful. This one I don't use very often. It's a Sharpie permanent marker in ultra fine point. I will use these on dashboards or any laminated materials that I'm using in my planner. So I will write on them with this, and it's permanent, so it doesn't come off of the laminate until you use this Expo dry eraser marker or any sort of dry erase marker. You just color it on top of it and then wipe it off with a cloth. So that way all of the things I put on those dashboards will stay in place, but when I'm ready to remove them, I just use this dry erase marker. I don't carry these with me a lot because I don't use a lot of dashboards in my daily planning, but if I am currently using one, I'll always make sure to have these in my little pouch. The last one is probably the silliest, because obviously I have other pens that work better, but I will use a fancy looking pen if I'm in a meeting that I want to impress someone. I know, it's really silly. So these are by Erin Condren. This one is their like floral one and their layers one. And if I'm in an in-person meeting, which does not happen anymore, but when I used to be in them, I'd be like, ooh, this is super important and I want to be really fancy. Like, oh, let me write down your marketing goals. I don't know why. They're perfectly okay pens. Like they write fine. Everything about them is fine. I prefer to use the Paper Mate Ink Joys for note taking, but there's just something about these if I want to feel really fancy when I'm using them. They have really nice weight to them. They're very beautiful. They just kind of brighten up my note taking in a particular meeting. I've probably only done it a handful of times that I've like, oh, I have this meeting coming up. I need to bring my fancy pen. It's not something I'm like, oh, let's bring it. But sometimes it's kind of like a security blanket. I don't know why I'm trying to rationalize this. This whole video is insane, but I'm going to try anyway. It's like a security blanket for me when I go to a meeting. Like, I have great ideas. I can write it down. I'm going to do awesome. Use these pens as drumsticks. It's going to be amazing. So there you guys go. I basically have one of each of these pens with me at all times, and I will switch in the middle of working on something. If I have multiple planners open and I move from one notebook to the other, I will switch my writing utensil to be the proper one. Are you guys like me? Please let me know. Am I completely insane? Or are you like, no, this is completely normal. I do the exact same thing. Let me know what you guys think. Are there pens out there that you swear by? I would love to check out new pens, obviously. Like, it's pretty clear that I'm obsessed. So are there any pens out there that you just can't get enough of? Let me know your thoughts and opinions and all of that good stuff in the comments section. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more ridiculous videos like this one, and I'll see you then. Bye.